Hell Week, 7 Days to Be Your Best Self, written by Erik Bertrand Larssen. The 7 Days of Hell Week. This book will walk you step by step through the regimen my clients follow, so that you can achieve not only what you already know you should be doing, but more than you ever dreamed of. Each day has a different theme and area of focus, which I will dive into more deeply later in the book. But to give you an idea of the challenges you'll face as you proceed from Monday morning to Sunday night, what follows is a brief overview of the week. I should stress that Hell Week should be done during a routine week in your life. You should go to work as normal and tend to all the demands of your home and family life. The only difference is you will be executing those tasks to the highest level, while taking on the added challenges of Hell Week. It will not be easy, but I promise you, it will be exciting and rewarding. Monday, Habits. This day will be devoted to figuring out which habits are helping you and which are holding you back. There's an old saying, habits are cobwebs at first, cables at last. You'll start creating good habits today that will be with you years from now. Remember, you determine your habits, they don't determine you. Tuesday, Mood and Focus. How many moods do you have in a given day? Are you bringing the right moods to the right situations? Tuesday of Hell Week answers these questions by being hyper-focused on your state of mind. You'll learn how to take charge of your moods and bring the right energy to the day's various events and interactions. Wednesday, Time Management. The modern world seems to conspire against time management at every turn. On Wednesday, you'll learn how to fight back with thorough planning and preparation, creating clear goals, maintaining to-do lists, and dividing your life into days, weeks, months, and years are among the tasks you'll tackle. Thursday, the comfort zone. If it was supposed to be easy, it wouldn't be called Hell Week. That fact will be apparent on Thursday, the week's toughest day, which gets you outside your comfort zone to discover new limits. For starters, you will not sleep for a full 41 hours. You will impose a complete social media blackout. You will confront at least one of your deepest fears. It's going to be hell, but I promise you won't regret it. Friday, Rest and Restitution. A day devoted to the pursuit of real restorative rest will follow Hell Week's hardest day. Rest is not a luxury. It is an essential human need that enables us to function at our highest level. You are probably not doing enough in your regular life to recharge the mind and body. Today you will focus on ways to change that. Saturday, Inner Dialogue. Thoughts determine character. By changing your thought patterns, you can effectively change your life. As Hell Week winds down, on Saturday you will channel your thoughts towards the positive. We all have the potential to be our own worst enemy or best ally. On this day you will learn how to win over your inner dialogue. Sunday, Reflection. The final day of Hell Week is an opportunity to look back on everything that you accomplished. You'll need time to sort through the experiences and put your life into perspective through targeted self-reflection and interactions with key people. You have made a major investment in yourself. On Sunday, make sure it pays off. Nothing to it, right? Seriously, Hell Week is a major challenge. But having guided hundreds of clients through the program, I can tell you that if you make the commitment and go through the process, you'll come to see that becoming your best possible self isn't as hard as you feared. Small actions have major effects. You will eat healthily, exercise every day, and rest effectively. You will listen to the people around you, work with concentration, get up early, and go to bed early. You will be thorough in everything you undertake, cut out inessentials, and prioritize appropriately. You will be a good fellow human being. You will give. You will be positive and happy. You will be energetic, assertive, proactive, and dynamic. You will be the best version of yourself for one whole week. It's 1 week that will change your life forever. Remember, You can take a lot more than you think. Now, let's get started. The 7-step plan. You should start getting ready for Hell Week 2 or 3 weeks beforehand. This is a crucial period, because it's during this time that you'll build up the momentum and motivation needed for a successful outcome. You won't achieve real and lasting transformation if you don't know exactly which aspects of your life you're looking to change. Remember, it's the small decisions that, when added up, have the greatest impact. I've devised a 7-step process that will help you define your goals for Hell Week and come up with a plan for achieving them. Think of it this way. Hell Week comprises the actual performance situation akin to the 10-kilometer race in swimming. We all know that when the starting gun sounds, the swimmers have already undertaken most of the work. They've trained systematically, grinding away at the details, preparing themselves mentally for what lies ahead, visualizing every aspect of the race, picturing various scenarios in their mind, and deciding how they'll respond to the different challenges they'll face along the way. Of course, one of those swimmers will have done all these things more diligently than the rest, and it's his hand that will touch the wall first. The following 7-step plan will help you bring that same level of preparedness to Hell Week. Some of the steps are action-oriented, while others are more contemplative, requiring you to reflect on your life, its past, present, and future. If you don't already keep a journal, I strongly urge you to start one for this process. You're going to discover a lot about yourself in the weeks to come. You want to keep a record of the exploration. Step 1. Embrace adversity. If I had to choose one word that embodies Hell Week and the method behind it, that word would be adversity. For soldiers undergoing the military version of the 7-day challenge, it's all about the will to continue. That's why I love that quote from Churchill in the introduction. If you are going through hell, keep going. As you get ready for Hell Week, the notion of adversity always should be foremost in your mind. My clients are sometimes confused by this mandate when I first start working with them, since my method is so much about focusing on success. They're confusing failure with adversity. Failure is a negative, adversity is a positive. Indeed, it's one of the best forms of motivation, provided you're prepared for it. The action plan. Take stock. I always ask my clients to list the ups and downs in their lives. The highs include their proudest accomplishments and happiest moments. The lows might include the loss of a job or the end of a relationship. The point of this exercise is to simply make you recognize the peaks and valleys that are part of life. By accepting that fact, you'll be less likely to fall into a state of despair and self-pity when bad things happen. Instead, you'll see them as a simple matter of course, and take the steps necessary to move past them. Look for the lesson. Adversity is an opportunity to grow stronger and learn something new about who you are as a person, but you first need to be able to see the challenges in life as teachable moments. To do so, it helps to recognize the fact that negative states are temporary, as are positive ones. This too shall pass, is the old adage. In that mindset, you'll have an easier time analyzing the adversity, understanding how you ended up in the situation, and figuring out what you need to do to get out of it. Share your pain. Make a list of people you know you can turn to when the going gets tough. Knowing that you have a network and a support system in place will help you prepare for adversity. That's especially true if your network is filled with positive people. Remember that it's a two-way street. You need to be there when someone from your support system is dealing with adversity. As you get better at this, you'll learn to recognize when they're in that state, which will raise your overall awareness of adversity as a simple fact of life. Create choices. The best leaders always have at least a plan B and often a C, D, and E to go with it. Having options is especially important during times of hardship and adversity. You can start by imagining the best possible option, but also think about outcomes that would be tolerable, at least in the short term. You are definitely going to deal with some kind of adversity during Hell Week. As you prepare, think about one possible scenario and the various choices you'll give yourself to get out of it. Forget excuses. If choice is the enemy of fear, as the saying goes, then excuses are one of its staunchest allies. We have a tendency to shut down and ignore our options when faced with challenging situations, and that opens the door for all kinds of excuse making. And excuses have a way of building on one another, accruing into full-fledged denial. You're faced with a problem. You come up with a list of excuses for why you can't deal with it. Eventually, you convince yourself that the problem isn't so bad, when in fact it's getting bigger all the time. During Hell Week, you will find the courage to banish excuses and confront adversity head-on. Think about it. Overcoming adversity is a kind of problem solving, and one of the best ways to tackle a problem is to come at it with a clear mind. That involves learning how to get yourself into a calm state, where you have full control over your emotions, which is another reason I'm such a big proponent of meditation. I'll come back to it many times throughout the book, but in the context of adversity, let me just say this. I've never known a committed meditator who hadn't also learned how to embrace adversity. The skills are practically one and the same. Find the humor. We all know about the power of laughter to lift our spirits. Humor is a great antidote to all kinds of adversity. One technique that I encourage many of my clients to try, especially the hopelessly serious ones, is to skip. I mean the kind of skipping children do when they're on their way to school. You might skip down the hall or across the parking lot, or if you must, around your office with the door closed. Wherever you do it, I guarantee the act of skipping will bring a smile to your face. That brief moment of levity will empower you to embrace adversity. Step 2. Get mentally prepared. There are many ways to think about mental preparation, but in my experience it boils down to one thing: developing a tolerance for risk. The action plan. Silence the negative voices. It's easy to blame yourself for being stuck in a rut. You focus on all the wrong choices you made, or you tell yourself that your heart has never been in it. To break this pattern of pessimism, you literally need to turn off the negative voices in your head. It requires deliberate focus and concentration. As you prepare for Hell Week, I want you to be vigilant of these negative thoughts and diffuse them by making the conscious decision not to listen to them. You might even go so far as to yell the word "stop" in your mind. Do whatever it takes to break the negative thought cycle so that you can point your thoughts in a positive direction. Learn to deal with discomfort. An entire day of Hell Week will be devoted to getting outside of your comfort zone. During the preparatory stage, I simply want you to imagine the feeling by asking yourself some of the same provocative questions I ask my clients. What would happen if you lost it all tomorrow? How would you respond? What would you do first? Be as realistic as possible in these doomsday scenarios. See yourself rising from bed, getting dressed, and putting your life back together. This thought experiment is designed to reveal your resilience, which in turn should instill higher levels of risk tolerance. Embrace your silly side. I already mentioned the power of skipping, as in skipping down the street, to lighten your mood and help with relaxation. It's also a good way to get out of your comfort zone. Picture a judge skipping to the courtroom or a college president skipping across campus. Kind of unimaginable, right? Onlookers might even think they looked foolish. But what if that judge or president made it known that skipping was his or her way of distressing, and that was essential to the work they did? The action would probably then be perceived differently, as the action of an enlightened man or woman. Obviously, there is a time and place for silliness. The judge wouldn't skip while court was in session, nor would the president during a commencement speech. But in the right setting, embracing your silly side is an effective way to get outside of your comfort zone. Be okay with "I don't know." Imagine you're asked a question that you don't know the answer to. Now imagine it's a question you really should be able to answer and is being asked by someone you don't want to look stupid in front of. In that situation, most people will do their best to feign knowledge in some way. Or maybe they'll try to deftly change the conversation so their ignorance isn't exposed. Admitting they don't know is too uncomfortable. But why? Is there anyone in the world who knows everything? Of course not. And even the most intelligent among us have huge gaps in their knowledge. Saying "I don't know" is a great way to get outside of your comfort zone. And I think you'll find that it leads to a lot more learning. Step 3. Strengthen the connection between mind and body. The action plan. Exercise every day. You must work out for a minimum of 1 hour each day during HELLWEEK. At least 2 of these exercise sessions should be extremely vigorous, enough to cause sweat and heavy breathing. If you aren't regularly active, you should get clearance from your doctor before taking on this rigorous regimen. It's a good idea to ask them what a safe heart rate is for your condition and then use a heart rate monitor to make sure you're staying within it. Increase your activity. In addition to regular exercise, you should lead an overall more active life during HELLWEEK. If possible, walk or ride your bike to work, instead of driving or relying on mass transportation. Walk briskly or even take a light jog between meetings or when going for a cup of coffee. Master your mode. Mode is a state that allows you to trust your training and to act in the way you do in training, to act instinctively. If you are in danger, it is natural to feel scared, maybe even to panic, but that feeling is not going to make you safe from what you fear. You therefore need to override the natural feeling and change it into another. Below is the advice I give corporate managers who are about to deliver important presentations, or to artists who are about to go on stage. As part of your HELLWEEK preparation, practice these techniques so that you can implement them when the main event arrives. 1. Breathe deeply and feel calmer. 2. Square your shoulders. You will feel a little safer. 3. Walk at a brisk, confident stride and you will feel more sure of yourself. 4. Smile to feel more positive and happier. 5. Sit or stand with your body leaning forward to feel more alert. 6. Stand with your feet set wide apart to feel tougher and more powerful. Eat well. A healthy diet is essential to peak performance. Before the start of HELLWEEK, stock up on healthy foods, including fruits and vegetables, nuts and whole grains, and yogurt. You should eat smaller meals more frequently throughout the day, preferably 5 meals a day, 2 of which should be snacks. Forget the junk food and forget alcohol. You won't have to deny yourself these indulgences forever, but during HELLWEEK, only the best food and drink should enter your body. Dress for success. I'm not what you'd call a clothes horse, but I still wear a suit to work almost every day. I can feel my mindset start to shift as I put on my executive uniform. It has an effect on me. Shaving thoroughly, putting on a freshly ironed shirt, bending the collar of my shirt over the tie, or fine-tuning the crease in my pants. I want you to prepare for this kind of personal presentation before HELLWEEK. When you dress professionally, it doesn't feel natural to surf the web and gossip with co-workers. Smart attire is a reminder that you're in work mode. It communicates to colleagues, clients and yourself that you're someone who pays attention to detail, to doing things properly, and that you're reliable. Step 4. Gather feedback. The action plan. Draw from all spheres of your life. There is no single right number for how many people you should interview, but I do want the feedback to come from all aspects of your life. Remember, we all have different personas, one for work, one for family, one for friends, etc. I think you'll find that some of the qualities you hear about from your home life might be applicable to work. Or if you're in a book club or on a hockey team, the feedback you receive about the person you are in that setting could be applied during your next sales pitch or job interview. Give people time to prepare. Stopping a colleague in the hallway at work and asking them what they think about you will probably put them on the spot. Likewise, you don't want to ambush a friend during an otherwise casual drink at the bar. I tell my clients to be clear and upfront about HELLWEEK and the role feedback plays in the process. the other people are usually intrigued and eager to participate. It helps to set a date at least 48 hours in advance, so that your interviewees will have time to think about the feedback they're going to give. And it helps to give them a few questions to ponder. The questions should be specific and pointed. Instead of, "What are my strengths and weaknesses?" you might ask, "Are there ways that I could run our weekly meetings more effectively? Or do I provide adequate direction when assigning you projects?" Listen up. This should be obvious, but if you're a person who is used to doing most of the talking, you need to remind yourself that this is a time to open your ears and keep your mouth shut. You may not agree with every point your interview makes, and some of them might make you downright angry, but the goal of this exercise is to understand how others perceive you and not how you think you should be perceived. Engage in active listening through maintained eye contact, small smiles, and attentive posture. Include written responses. Even with ample warning, some people won't be comfortable giving you feedback in person. It's okay to include some written exchanges in the process. I don't like clients to rely on the written word completely, since face-to-face interactions tend to contain the emotion that's key to the process, but 1 or 2 written responses can help bring in different perspectives. Try for some anonymous response. This is a little harder to pull off, but if you can find a way to solicit anonymous feedback, it's guaranteed to be honest. Though, be warned, the truth can sting. When I'm working with clients, I'll often orchestrate interviews with coworkers, which is one way of achieving anonymity. You won't have that same luxury, but you might enlist a spouse, partner, or close colleague to get some anonymous feedback on your behalf. Forget the performance appraisal. This might not win me many friends in human resource departments, but a once or twice a year performance review doesn't help employees really reach their full potential. Sure, it serves some purpose, giving managers and employees alike a chance to assess accomplishments and set goals for the coming year. But the entire process is too formal and regimented. The kind of feedback I want you to go for HELLWEEK needs a stronger emotional core. This is more likely to happen when you initiate a conversation outside of the appraisal process. I had one client who started going on power walks at lunch with her colleagues, and those walks led to some of their most meaningful exchanges. Look for that kind of fresh, unexpected context. Make room for follow-ups. If you end up having a lively and productive discussion or written exchange with your interviewee, chances are additional thoughts will occur to them later on. Let them know that they're welcome to share anything else that comes to mind at any time. Also, you might offer to give them feedback on their performance, if it seems like they'd be amenable. More companies are making this process formal through so-called 360-degree reviews. I see a lot of value in this approach, though you don't have to wait for it to become official policy at your job. Being able to offer criticism is just as valuable as being able to receive it, and this phase of HELLWEEK preparation is a perfect forum for that sort of give and take. Step 5. Define your goals. The action plan. Be as specific as possible. It's one thing to say you want to make a lot of money, it's another to say you want to be worth X million dollars by the time you reach a certain age. The more specific the goal, the more likely you are to reach it, because you will be able to formulate a concrete strategy. To use a simpler example than making a lot of money, which usually requires years of effort, let's take the example of physical fitness. Declaring that you want to get in shape is unlikely to yield meaningful results. But if you say you want in 6 months to lose 20 pounds or run a 10K race, you'll be able to create a plan for hitting those targets. It's always a good idea to put your goals in writing, so they become a kind of contract with yourself. Dare to dream. In due course, it's important that your goals feel realistic, that they're actually within the limits of your capabilities. But to start off, I don't want you to worry too much about this, because you may not actually be the best judge of what's possible. I see this with people all the time. They set their sights too low, either because they lack confidence or because they haven't taken the time to truly investigate all the possibilities available to them. As we work through the process, goals that they thought were well beyond their reach start to seem attainable. Don't be afraid to think big in the beginning. Create a time frame. Goals should always be grounded in some kind of time frame. Otherwise, there won't be any sense of urgency or accountability, and you'll find that weeks or months slip by without any action. To use the fitness example, if you give yourself 6 months to lose those 20 pounds, you'll be able to monitor your progress and reinforce the goal with each pound you shed. Break it up. It's important to create concrete criteria for measuring progress toward your goal. Think of the football players moving down the field toward the end zone. With every first down they reach, the chains move forward, and their confidence builds. Building sub-targets into your goal will make it seem more attainable and provide that sense of forward progress. I once worked with a sales executive who wanted to start a business and be his own boss. But he had a wife and kids, a mortgage and car payments, all usual trappings. So the prospect of quitting his stable, well-paying, benefits-rich job was more than he could stomach. Instead of his taking that one giant step, we worked out a strategy where he would first launch a smaller version of the business on the side, while still holding down his current job. That enabled him to take small steps toward the goal, launching the website, coming up with a marketing plan, building a customer base, etc. Slowly but surely, the side business grew until it could support him and his family, at which point it became his full-time occupation. Today it's a thriving business and he's achieved his goal of self-employment. But he never would have gotten there if he hadn't broken the goal into bite-sized chunks. Share your vision. This isn't the first time in this book that I advocate sharing, and it won't be the last either. Very few people can live their best possible life in a vacuum. And I assure you that no one ever completed HELLWEEK, be it the military or civilian version, by themselves. When it comes to goals, making yourself accountable to colleagues, family or friends is a great motivator. As you reach sub-targets, they'll cheer you along. And if you experience setbacks, they'll be there to provide encouragement or that much needed shot in the arm. Be willing to sacrifice. A truly worthy goal will compel you to give something up. You have to be willing to accept the consequences. If you want to become a leader in your field, the time and energy needed to achieve that goal are going to have to come from some other aspect of your life. This process turns into a kind of virtuous cycle. The more sacrifices you make and the more of yourself you invest, the more motivation you feel to reach the next milestone toward your ultimate goal. Stay the course. Ultimately, you are the only person who can make your goals happen. There will be setbacks and bumps in the road. Remember to embrace adversity and recognize that it is a part of the larger journey. More than talent or intelligence or people skills, your willingness to persevere will determine whether you reach your goals or not. In addition to staying the course, you need to go all out from start to finish. This is a tall order for people, and not just because of the discipline required. There's also the fear that if you give all of yourself and come up short, you're left with nothing. Athletes make these mistakes all the time. They give only 80 or 90% so that if they do lose, they can tell themselves, well, I didn't go all out. Don't make this mistake. Even if you don't meet your goal, as long as you gave everything you had to give, you will have reached a new milestone in your journey. Step 6. Visualization, creating a loop in the thread. The action plan. Fake it till you make it. I once had a client who was a successful businessman in mergers and acquisitions. He suffered bouts of extreme anxiety before pitch meetings with new clients, to the point where it was affecting his job performance and taking a toll on his family. One of the techniques I had him do was to tell himself every day that he was looking forward to the next pitch meeting, even though it was patently false. Repeating the statement over and over, for up to 15 minutes at a time, can actually alter your perception. The positive mental energy will start to work in your favor, as it did for my client, who became progressively more confident during his sales pitches. Imagine the bad along with the good. I know I've hammered home the importance of keeping a positive mindset, and I do believe that the balance of your visualization should be about imagining how to perform a task optimally. But you should also prepare for worst-case scenarios. What if your computer breaks down right before the meeting? Or if the must-land client doesn't like your presentation? How will you react in those situations? Imagining yourself in effective problem-solving mode is another important component of the visualization process. Turn your life into a film. Pretend your life is a movie and you're the director. You get to call the scenes and write the dialogue. There you are, at the breakfast table, enjoying a healthy breakfast and giving the kids words of encouragement as they race off to school. Got to the morning meeting, where you're delivering a confident summary of the work plan for the week. Now it's evening and you're picking up a bottle of your spouse's favorite wine to make them feel special. Engage all of your senses as you imagine these scenes and really go there with your mind. Role play. This is another technique that I often use with clients. It requires a partner, someone you're comfortable letting go with. But if you can find that person, it takes the visualization process to a whole new level. Think of it as a sparring match. Your partner is there to ask tough questions and push you to uncomfortable places. And you're to do the same when the roles are reversed. If you're role-playing for a job interview, your partner should challenge your credentials and really make you prove yourself. If it's a new client meeting, they should be extra skeptical of the idea you are pitching. The exercise is meant to push your limits so that you'll be prepared for any eventuality when the real situation comes around. Step 7. Devise a program. The final step of HELLWEEK preparation is really an amalgamation of the first 6. You've prepared mentally and thought about what it means to embrace adversity. You've considered your fitness and dietary habits. You've solicited feedback from key people in your life and incorporated what they said into the formulation of specific goals. You've visualized what success will look like. Now it's time to pull it all together and devise a plan for the 7 days that are HELLWEEK. The action plan. Put your life into perspective. You will have begun this process already, especially during the goal-defining phase of your HELLWEEK preparations. But as you devise your actual plan for the week, I want you to focus hard on a finality of life. This may strike you as somewhat morbid, but I call this process the philosophizing of death. Recognizing that one day you will lie in your grave can affect your gratitude for being alive now, and it's a pretty good motivator too. Tackle the big stuff first. As you devise your daily agenda for HELLWEEK, front-load your day with the bigger, more demanding tasks or assignments. A lot of people make the mistake of whittling away the early morning hours with busy work like checking email. All this week I want you to start out with something big and challenging. So much the better if it's something you've been putting off for a while. You'll find that crossing major items of your to-do list early in the day will give you a big push of momentum. Stay flexible. Contingency plans are the stuff of highly successful planners. Apart from the 5 a.m. wake-up call, the rest of your HELLWEEK schedule will be subject to the vagaries of life. From sick children to jackknife tractor trailers on the freeway that leave traffic snarled for miles. Life happens, it's true. So you need to be ready with Plan B. Remain proactive, not reactive, so that even if you have to shift course during this week, you can stay focused on the goals at hand. Combination of flexibility and persistence will see you through the week. Identify energy sources. I talked above about energy leakages, those aspects of your life that slow you down or distract you from the task at hand. As you chart your HELLWEEK, I want you to become aware of environments and activities that have the opposite effect. Exercise is perhaps the greatest energizer, and it's automatically programmed into your week's routine. What else inspires and motivates you? You should schedule at least 2 hours of these activities into your HELLWEEK. Be ready to say no. A study from the University of California in San Francisco found that people who have a hard time saying no tend to experience higher levels of stress, burnout, and even depression.
Makes sense, right? If you accept every assignment that comes your way, it's only a matter of time before the overload sets in. As you set your priorities for the week, get ready to decline any offers or requests that will get in the way. Practice saying no with confidence. Mentally tough people steer clear of phrases like, I don't think I can, or I'm sorry to disappoint, and instead opt for more forceful language like, I can't do it, or you'll have to find someone else. Remember, it's healthy to say no. Find time for fun. HELLWEEK is going to be hard work, but you shouldn't dread it. Give yourself rewards each day and plan something extra special for the end of the week. Whether it's cracking open that priced bottle of wine or going out for a meal at your favorite restaurant. I can still remember the single square of milk chocolate that I received from the commanding officer during my military HELLWEEK. I still think about it every time I eat chocolate. Challenging situations and difficult times produce a heightened sense of gratitude. You will learn a great deal from the contrast within HELLWEEK. Employ daily affirmations. If you're the humble kind, this one might make you squeamish, but daily affirmations are a device used by many successful and mentally resilient individuals. During HELLWEEK, I want you to spend a few minutes each day reminding yourself why you're a damn good person. Focusing on your strong suits is one of the best ways to develop a stronger sense of self.